Welcome, everybody, to another exciting podcast. Today, we talk about a fictional story of a worldwide novel virus that spreads rapidly and kills some people sometimes, and the whole world shuts down. And a vaccine is put on top priority by every government and every drug company in the world.
I think I know this one.
And one is produced. Several are produced in record time. And then society goes into a civil war. It becomes a vaccinator versus anti-vaxxer.
I don't know this one.
And then there's two-tier system of citizens. The people who got the vaccination are special and get all the privileges, and the people who don't get to do anything. They don't get jobs, they don't get to travel, they don't even get to go to restaurants, and they get ostracized. And then a bloody civil war breaks out, and the Civil War killed more people than the virus ever did.
Oh my goodness. All right, that's it. I'm jumping in on this one. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Evil Safety Dudes. Aaron, we are not doing a podcast on post-apocalyptic coronavirus. That's not happening. I'm still back to podcast.
I'm glad that that's not a real story. I hope it doesn't become that, you know.
First I was like, is he really just going to start giving me the news? And I was like, oh no. He's going out
well,
there with it.
the truth is stranger than fiction, right? And so doing an outlandish story about rainbow-colored unicorns that breathe Skittles, like everyone's like, wow, that's weird, but reality is more weird
sometimes.
But all right, anyway,
sometimes reality is just, what did you do today? I drove to work, I worked, and then I went home. Such a strange story.
What is our reality? What is this show really about?
Our reality is that we are a show about how not to die at work and almost everything OSHA.
So like how not to get in a car crash?
I mean, it could be.
Like if you're on the job driving?
We could do an episode about driver safety.
Is it like how not to get sucked into a machine? Is that what you talk about on your show?
Several times. On my show?
Yeah.
It's my show now?
Is it, I'm quizzing you on what it's on what it's about. Is it about how not to get stabbed at work?
It can be, honestly.
Shot at work?
Also included.
Okay. Is it how not to get cursed at by an angry customer?
That is verbal de-escalation. And yes.
So it's a part of that too?
That's a part of it.
Wow, your show is very broad and vast and covers multiple different
things.
Yes, my show is. That's a pretty cool show, man.
Well, so joined with me in the IBC podcast studio is Mr. Aaron Iacino, one of our OSHA authorized outreach instructors. He is a HAZWOPER instructor. He is a disaster site worker trainer. What other crazy thing kind of going into this one? Because
I still have questions on your show.
Under today's topic.
Does your show cover is it needed? Like, does anybody actually work?
People work for a living, Aaron.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, for real.
All right, so
there are these things called jobs.
Okay, so
people go to them.
Like your show's applicable
to almost everybody.
So it's not like a weird fringe show with like a tiny population of humans are into it.
No, I think that's exactly what it is.
It's not.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head with that one.
So people actually do this thing called
Constantly.
Work.
Yeah.
And so worker safety is important to people.
Yes, all of them.
All right. Well, I can get behind this show.
Okay.
So now I'm interested about it.
Good.
Tell me more.
No. I refuse.
All right. So you introduced me.
I
so
did.
It's my turn to introduce you.
I mean, if you want. My name's AJ. This is my show. Welcome to the podcast.
Join with me in the IBC podcast fort, located in the IBC Training Center, downtown Sioux City, Iowa, is none other than Mr. AJ Hanscom, who has built 3 vehicles.
I have built 3 vehicles.
And
terrible job.
And he is a bodybuilder.
I mean, kind of. But yeah.
He likes protein.
I do. I really like protein.
And what else?
And painting
I'm
tiny
supposed to say
miniatures.
professional stuff on you, though.
Oh, no, man. I'm a professional protein
As far
eater.
as what would be cool for today's show, you are an OSHA authorized outreach instructor. You have official OSHA disaster site worker training. You are a HAZWOPER instructor, which is huge into respiratory protection. What else would make you seem like a guy that people should listen to when we talk about today's topic, which is respiratory protection, by the way. You've also conducted, would it be fair to say 1,000 fit tests?
I don't know if we've hit 1,000, but hundreds of fit tests.
I mean, we had 300 in one company.
Yeah. So
And
hundreds.
we've done several companies. All right. So conducted several hundred respiratory fit tests for N95s.
I have that whole list of 7 things just memorized.
And elastomeric half mask.
Yeah.
And
Full mask.
full face.
Full SCBA.
Yeah. And you've done SCBA training.
Negative pressure SCBAs as well. We had a few of those.
But you've done the SCBA training before?
Oh, yeah.
And besides the fit test, has conducted respiratory protection training for many years. So, all right. I think we've told people why they should listen to you.
That's right. And why you should listen to you. To me. And why you should listen to me is because we're doing respiratory protection as our podcast topic today.
Back to questions on your show, sir. Now, respiratory protection, is this something that people would care about? Like, why would you do a show on
I'm
that?
I'm going to throw you an
like,
insane...
should you do a show on Kim Kardashian?
No. This is a more important statistic that I have for you. Half of all people breathe, Aaron.
I think that's inaccurate.
Well, no, half of them do breathe. I didn't say the other half don't breathe.
Okay. So half of them breathe and the other half breathe as well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So 50% of all people breathe, Aaron.
I'm just wondering the relevance of respiratory protection to, let's just say, Americans, because we're in America.
We are, and OSHA technically only governs America, and we specialize in OSHA, so we're kind of only in that boat.
But tell me why Americans would care about respiratory protection.
Well, they all breathe. They all do it.
Yeah,
Believe it or
but
not.
how many of them could breathe in something hazardous?
You know, they do say the number one transportation of a chemical exposure is respiratory.
Because we all have to breathe.
So the number one way you could be exposed to a chemical at work would be by breathing it in.
Because you have to breathe at work.
You do have to breathe at work. I mean, most of you do.
Working 10 years in adolescent psych.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody would be a threat to themselves or others, and we'd have to put them in seclusion.
Okay.
And some of the kids would try to kill themselves by holding their breath.
Oh, no.
And the noobs, the new psych tech or nurses, mental health tech, they would freak out. We gotta go in there and save them. I'd be like, nah, just give them a minute. They're
pass
cool.
out. No, start breathing.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even pass out.
No, they just give up.
Yeah, like you can't like pass yourself out by holding your breath. Like involuntarily, you're gonna start breathing.
I thought you could.
Go ahead, try it.
I'm not gonna try.
I'll talk while you hold your breath and see if you pass out.
The podcast.
Just lay on the ground though, so if it works and I'm wrong, you don't fall, because that would be a work comp injury.
Yeah, that would stink. Like I also don't want to go through that. So no, I'm not gonna.
I've been choked out.
I have been choked out before.
You've been choked out?
Yeah.
How are you choked out?
It's a funny story.
You
actually.
don't do jujitsu.
No. We were playing Halo at college.
and you were talking too much trash.
Yeah.
Too much Mountain Dew and pizza.
A couple of us were in one dorm room, and a couple other people were in another dorm room. And one of the guys said, Hanscom, if you do that again, I'm going to come over there and choke you out. And so I did, and I hear him coming, and so I take my time really quick to find his body when he respawns, so that when he comes into the room, I'm facing him with the rocket launcher, and so then he comes into the room, and I blow him up again, and I had my hands on the controller, so he just went ahead and locked in tight, and I passed out.
Was it a rear naked choke, or was it like just a untrained choke?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, and I passed out pretty good, and I woke up later.
Like right away?
I don't think I was out very long, but, yeah, I was out.
Yeah.
Like, I
I got choked unconscious one time in a jiu-jitsu tournament, my very first one. So our battery's going to die. So
is that what that is?
Yeah, you have to keep talking.
All right, I will keep talking. More people need respiratory protection, I think, that really they recognize. So that's one of the things we definitely want to go over today. Aaron will come back and tell us a crazy story about getting choked out. But in the meantime, today when we're going over respiratory protection, we want to talk about, of course, all things OSHA requirements, their big old beef with why people need to breathe, and obviously why we got to go ahead and keep it up. And hopefully air makes it before we die. The laptop's coming. All right. I think we're good. I think we're gonna make it.
Okay, I
everything's
saved the
back on
day.
track. I like how the thing just goes off. We both just immediately look at each other. We're like,
All right, we're professionals.
that's right.
Yeah, we always plug in.
In
our
fact, you know what we
laptops
should have done?
when we record.
Is we should have just not even skipped a beat. I could have just kept talking. And
Well,
nobody
next
else-
time we have computers gonna die fast alert, I'm gonna do a motion like this.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and then you just know to keep talking.
I'm just gonna know that that's the signal.
Do you think people want to hear the rest of my story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear the story.
So
You're in a tournament.
so you sign up for jiu-jitsu tournaments online most of the time.
Okay. I
Yeah.
sign up by going to random buildings asking
Yeah,
if there's a
and,
sign up sheet for jiu-jitsu, but
I don't know
Your
if
one
I
makes more
signed
sense.
up in the wrong one because
Okay.
I goofed up, or if they goofed up the brackets. But regardless, I'm at this jiu-jitsu tournament, and it's my first one, and I barely train jiu-jitsu. And
good,
they-
you're prepared.
They call my name,
Yeah.
and I look at the other dude who's coming on the mat, and I was supposed to be the old guy, beginner, like 196
Okay.
pound.
Okay.
Dude walking on the mat, it's like 230, 240,
Jeez.
young, 20-something.
Big boy.
And he's in the intermediate advanced category.
Oh, good. So
Like-
he's been doing jiu-jitsu for a while.
Like 5 days a week for 5 years or something.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you're ready.
Yeah, and so I look at the ref, I go, no, that's not my category. He's like, oh, the brackets are messed up. You want to do it or not? And there's all these people looking at me.
You're
And
like,
so I go what the
"Alright."
heck? It's only jiu-jitsu.
It's only jiu-jitsu.
It's only, they can't punch.
It's just my
Can't
life.
be that bad.
I want to get turned into a pretzel today.
So I take it and we start going, and I'm actually doing really good, man.
Yeah. You're hanging in there.
He's shooting in on me. I'm sprawling. He can't get me down. He shoots again. I sprawl, and I'm able to get in a dominant position on him.
Cool.
Like he's on his back,
Okay.
and I'm on top.
All right.
Like I'm killing it. I'm like, hey, I'm doing pretty good.
Start patting
I
yourself on the back
feel a
mid-fight.
little bit of pressure on my neck, but he didn't have me in any move I knew,
Okay.
so I didn't think I was in any danger.
Okay.
And then the next thing I know, I'm waking up looking at the ref and the promoter. It
so
was
you're
like,
in the dominant position. In your mind,
I'm
you're
killing
in control.
it. I'm doing a great job.
But this guy, you've left yourself somehow open. And what
it
is
was
he
a-
choking
it
you
was
with
a-
your gi?
It was no gi, and he used a baseball choke on me, which I never heard of before.
Okay.
Now I know it, and I get it on people. And I know I get out of it. It's like that word you miss in the spelling bee.
Sure. Yeah. So you never lose to that one again.
Yeah.
So
But,
you go
yeah,
from being
so
like, I'm winning.
I was choked out.
Why
man.
am I suddenly waking up?
So I flopped over, but I woke up right away, and I was fine.
Dang.
Yeah.
Whew.
But
That's surprising. That's
I
actually
think
kinda
this is
funny.
what the definition of off topic.
Well, we are talking respiratory protection. You were not protecting your ability to breathe, so
Yeah, because I was. He wasn't. There's a trach choke
right.
where you cut off the airway of someone. You can
Oh,
pass them out
so
that
it wasn't
way.
your air; it was your
Th-
blood flow.
This is a blood choke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're literally, your brain just kind of got a
Yeah,
little
just
deprived
shut
and you
down.
passed
Just
out.
rebooted.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
Little off
so
topic.
I think that'll work for my personal story. Not that that's what I'm up to today.
That's not an
but
update at all.
No,
Is it? Well, I mean, it kind of is since you're always training.
I've never
and,
been knocked out.
like punched,
Yeah.
like punched in the.
Yeah.
Just
Unconscious that way. Just choked out once.
Just
so,
took that
yeah.
one time.
All right. Well, what's new with you, sir?
It's getting warm. I'm very happy because I'm one of those driveway people. Like I can't wait till I'm like really old and have too many cars because I'm gonna have like a driveway full of cars and I'm gonna wash them all at the same time. Because I'm that guy in my neighborhood where I pick a day of the week, I put all my cars outside and I wash and wax.
Do you wear
all
cut
my
off
cars.
jean shorts and no shirt?
Well, yeah. Sometimes just a mesh tank top.
And flip flops?
Oh no, man, you gotta go barefoot. Come on.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm always out there. And then what I love is all the like super typical answers I get from everybody that goes by. Oh, when are you washing mine?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
smile and wave. Yeah, it's always the same jokes. I'll have mine over. Oh, okay, fine. Whatever. Roll up a grill,
$50.
bring some dogs.
$50.
$200, man. Come on.
$200.
This is quality experience. You gotta wash and wax them. But yeah, no, that's what I'm pumped about. Popping up my weekends, pulling the cars out, wash and wax everything, make it look all beautiful. I love it. It is one of the best ways to spend a day. Just take care of the cars. Oh, it's great.
If we were to have personal podcasts,
Yeah.
yours would probably be on cars.
Cars, minis, weightlifting, computers.
That would be 4 separate ones.
Oh.
That'd be a
I got
That'd be a weird.
I got a full-time job now.
Yeah. Mine would definitely, be on like MMA or,
yeah.
pastoral stuff. Definitely
Right.
my other passions. But
Oh, survival. I think you could definitely pull off a nice survival podcast.
hidden weapons on your body and improvised weapons.
Oh, I was thinking more or less like, because I always see you as like that guy that would disappear with his family, like when the government shuts down, and nobody just ever sees or hears from you again. You just
I
living off in
would
the
be a
wilderness.
prepper if I could afford it.
Ugh, it's so expensive to get that much
Yeah.
stuff ready.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But all right, so we did some personal updates, share
Yeah.
some personal stories.
Yeah.
We're on respiratory protection.
Yeah, we are.
And yeah, it is important right now because and we've talked about this on so many other podcasts. OSHA is citing on it like crazy. It's in
Yeah.
the top 10 citations
It was
of
in the top 10
2020.
a lot.
Not having respiratory protection policies, not doing respiratory
Policies.
protection, personal protective equipment training,
No training.
not doing fit tests, not doing medical
No
evals.
fit tests.
But I think we talked about that a
We have
lot.
beaten those
So
topics, like,
there's
really
there's a lot
pummeled
more
them.
on respiratory protection to talk about. Let's just talk about types.
Okay.
What's like the weakest, worst protection? Respiratory protective equipment.
So below respirators, you have dust masks.
Okay,
So not quite a respirator.
and it's technically personal protective equipment
It's technically PPE.
because it protects you from nuisance dust.
Yeah. But I'm not talking about like the nice N95 style that makes a seal. I'm talking about just like those cheap.
People don't
know.
understand the difference.
Well, there's no seal. It's just that dust mask. Like it doesn't even have the metal clip on
Some
the
do.
nose.
I got some dust masks with the metal piece.
Well,
but it's a
is it
one
still the same
strapper.
dust mask.
It's
Oh.
it's a dust mask. It's a one strapper, no NIOSH approval on it.
Okay. So is that still a respirator?
No, it's not. If it's not NIOSH approved as a respirator, it's not a respirator.
Then it's just the dust mask. So that's like the lowest, covering sort of a personal protective we can go to.
I mean, that's kind of a loaded thing we start on because it's people get mad and people
Yeah.
don't understand when I see a dust mask and I'm like, no big deal. Say I'm doing an OSHA audit.
Right.
They're asked me to find OSHA issues.
Yeah.
And then I see like a N95, NIOSH
N95,
approved
yep.
laying on a bench. And I'm like, not like freaking out, making a big deal, like, oh my God, we're
Right,
going to
yeah.
die. But no, like, oh, yep, there's one over there.
Right.
There's a violation. What? You just saw that over there?
Yeah, but
you
that
didn't say
one,
no.
and this one.
You're crazy. You sure you know what you're
crazy.
talking about?
You're crazy.
And I'm like, this is an actual respirator. But like, it's the exact same thing in the other thing. You said
Not
we were
quite the same
fine.
thing.
And I'm like, but it is, but it's not.
Right.
It's like,
And even some of those one strappers I found now will have an N95 stamp on them.
really?
Yep.
Wow, I've never seen an N95
One
with a single
strap.
strap.
It
Wouldn't want
had
that.
had a wide band, and then when it got to the back, it had a
Okay, well that makes more sense then.
yeah,
If it had some kind of like V band on the
yeah,
side,
and on the back. But
to
then it
help.
came down to one strap. But that's so common for construction workers to see one strap and think no problem. Like
Right.
that's one of the ones they actually kind of know.
Right.
So this one had me going like, ooh,
So if it's a NIOSH approved N95, it is technically
respirator.
filtering face piece, air purifying respirator.
Yep.
What do you know about the technology of an N95?
Oh, we okay. I know you sat in the same thing I did, and I actually learned some stuff in that video. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm pretty sure, and I figured you would remember the facts better than I did.
Well, they were talking about how an N95 works and how it's actually not designed to catch medium-sized particles, but it's really good at catching small particles, and it's really good at catching big particles. And so what it has is like all these crazy interwoven threads and fibers all back and forth, all everywhere, so that there's no real straight line all the way through this thing. And then to help like even further for it to catch particles, they're actually like static charges across a lot of these lines.
Electrostatic, yeah.
Yeah, so that it can actually attract certain
Yeah.
things and pick them up, so that like the small and the big ones that are hard to catch will actually be drawn in, and then the medium-sized ones will hopefully just collide with them because there's no straight line all the way through.
Right.
So it was really neat seeing like
Lot
the
of tech.
breakdown of it. Yeah,
You
this is
just
very cool.
You just see it on the table. It looks like a coffee filter with a strap on it. It's
Yeah.
writing, but
Right.
there's a lot of tech in there.
There is. It's really cool. They've got like certain threads made out of different materials to help change like the polarity of the electro. It's like electrostatic, I guess, kind of. But yeah, to have that extra magnetism, like there was a lot that went into these.
And a
N-
dust
N95s.
mask, no.
No, it was just like
Yeah.
a
A
fabric.
dust mask is a couple coffee filters
Right.
with a rubber band on it.
There you go, stapled on.
Like if you're on a construction site
Yeah.
and you run out of coffee filters, Use a dust mask.
I don't advise that.
No.
Everybody, I don't advise that.
Who was breathing into this? Well, Frank was. Well, he doesn't have that bad a breath. Put the coffee in it.
We've
not a great
used
idea.
paper towels before in pinches.
I mean, when
As,
you're in
a coffee filter.
but not something somebody's been breathing through.
Well, I didn't say you use a used one. That's nasty.
That's true. You didn't say that. I don't know why I automatically
and I'm
assumed.
Mr. I don't like germs,
That's
but I
true.
do think the scorching hot water would kill, stuff
don't know.
if you did use it. But I wouldn't. Let's just stop talking about
Yeah.
it because it's gross.
Gross.
So, all right. So weakest one.
Would be like your dust mask.
Yeah, and then you go to N95s.
Yeah,
now,
N95s.
quiz AJ time. NRP.
Oh man. Okay.
R95, N95, P95.
Okay,
you don't
so-
hear a lot about R95 and P95, but it's always N95.
All right. I think I know. So I'm gonna say what all three are, and then you'll have to fix me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
So N, R, and P, I believe, is all in reference to oil resistance. So
Yes.
N is no resistance, R is resistant, and then P is like, I don't remember what it stands for, but P is like the highest one. It's
Proof.
like proof. Okay. But yeah, P was like not getting through. So
yeah,
it's oil proof.
P100 is the bomb.
Right. But you can get like a P95.
I've never seen one, but they might make it.
I don't know.
It's like a new workout. Instead of the P90X, you can
There
get
you
the
go. Get the
No,
P95.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no,
that's-
man, if you got to wear a filtering face piece,
Yeah.
and you, in this day and age, it's very tough. But if you can get a P100,
That's like
your boss for that level of
right
protection.
for those little paper style with the rubber bands.
filtering
on 'em.
face piece, air purifier, not elastomeric, but filtering face
elastomeric,
pieces. Yeah, because P is going to be proof for like aerosolized oil,
Right.
oil vapors.
Yeah. Right.
It's going to block all that. But the 100s, now that's your second quiz. So you got 95s, you got 99s, and you got 100s. What do those numbers mean?
So 95 says that it gets like 95% of all particulates down to a certain size.
I think it's 0.03 microns. Don't quote me.
I know. I think it's 0.3
I don't
microns.
know. We'll
I
have
think
to
is what
fact
it is.
check ourselves
0.3
later.
microns.
Look it up at home. Never trust anybody.
Never trust.
Never
Or
trust anyone.
trust but verify.
There you go. That's straight from my dad right there. But the 99s are supposed to be 99% of all particulates of a certain size.
The same size.
And then 100 is actually not 100%. It's
No, but
99.9.
9999999.
Yeah, it's like 3 9s and then a
Yeah.
7, or 2 9s and then a 7, or something like that.
basically 100.
It's very close.
So
So almost 100.
and we also have another word for 100s.
Okay.
It's more HVAC terminology.
HEPA filters.
HEPA.
HEPA.
HEPA's
High
a
efficiency
Particulate.
particulate. There you go.
Yeah, so that's the 100, man.
That's the 100.
It's going to catch them small things.
Everything
and,
floating
and
through the
most of them.
house.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, guys, we're talking like right here in April. Everybody's been kicking on their air conditioners and everything. Like, as safety guys, we can't urge you enough to get fresh air. So if you are kicking on those air conditioners, you're starting to do all that stuff, do your normal household maintenance for you and your family. If you are responsible for that at work, get that done at work. You don't want old, nasty, gross air that's been sitting up there for all winter to now start blasting through your house. Get some fresh filters.
That's a public service announcement brought to you in part by AJ Hanscom. Because, it'd be a commercial
Yeah.
because it's not how to die at work.
I mean, it's true, but also, I mean, think about how often at work people just don't change their air filters.
Maintenance guys need to be.
They should be.
So, a lot of the rooftop units we're working with for our clients, the
Yeah.
big ones, they're changing them monthly.
Which is, I mean, that's awesome. Because
Yeah.
what we breathe in, I mean, we're talking respiratory protection. What we breathe in is so vitally important.
So HEPA filtration, 100 filtration. What would it be used for industrially? Question number 3. When are you required to wear something at a 100 level, like a P100? For what type of particulates that are hazardous that workers breathe in? You got this. I just maybe asking the question weird. If you couldn't, hierarchy of control, elimination,
Right.
substitution, engineering, all that stuff, work practice controls. if you had to use PPE to deal with a floating particulate that could hurt you, and you have to wear now a
Okay.
HEPA, what would be some of those particulates that we're talking about?
Asbestos?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if lead is on the list.
Yes.
Lead's on the list.
One you teach all the time. I'm surprising you're having a brain fart on this one.
Silica.
Silica,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, kicking myself. Jeez.
Yeah. So definitely.
I'm good at my job, actually.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're allowed to have brain farts.
I'm so lost.
So yeah, you got to wear HEPA if you're dealing with
Okay.
lead, asbestos, silica, stuff like that. But that's as a last resort,
Right.
and we should
Supposed
just
to
talk
get
about
through
that.
Your substitution, your elimination, your engineering, your work practice controls, and then finally getting down to PPE.
And that's actually written in the PPE standard.
Yeah.
1910.134, right?
Yep.
I mean, PPE is the last level.
The very last.
defense.
You can't go to it before any of those other parts are done.
And I mean, humans don't always follow all the rules. I know that's astonishing for people to hear.
Really?
But there's pictures been around for a long time of people cutting a hole in their respirator, stick their cigarette in there,
Yeah.
taking it off still in the contaminated area.
Oh, yeah.
We're having facial hair so they don't have a tight seal. Not doing a user seal check, positive and negative check. Not really knowing how to wear it. Not changing out their cartridges when they're supposed to. What else? How else can humans err with respirators? They don't store them clean. They're breathing in a bunch of nasty bacteria.
Right. They don't store them when labeled. You
Using
gotta have
the
name
wrong
on there.
filters.
Going into the wrong area with the filter, yeah.
They're wearing elastomeric half face air purifying respirator with cartridges for silica dust, but they got anhydrous ammonia cartridges on.
Right. So they got green cartridges out there.
It's not helping them.
No, it's not doing what they need for
But
their
they don't
silica.
know. They weren't trained.
Right.
So there's a lot to it. I honestly try to avoid respiratory protection for our clients whenever I can.
It honestly is probably one of the best ways to do it because it's safer for the employees. And it's also safer for the OSHA citations.
Well,
It's safer both ways.
and it makes people mad. They call
It
me
does.
up. Hey, Aaron, I need you to do whatever you got to do so my guys could wear this respirator.
Right.
I was like, all right, sounds good. First step,
Here's
we're
your
going to
list.
figure out how not to wear this respirator. What are you
Right.
talking about? Well, actually, we got to look at these other options before we
Yep.
jump to this. So I'm going to
Yep.
do my job well, and let's go through this.
Yeah.
Can we do ventilation? Can we move it outside to get better airflow?
Right.
Can we do it under a negative pressure ventilation hood?
Right. Or
Like-
does this job even need to be done?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, could we just not do it?
some of these standards like silica and hexavalent chromium, they
Yeah.
require some air monitoring to see if we're above that action level.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's look at a whole bunch of other stuff before we jump to that. No,
Right.
no, I just want you to train us so our guys can wear that.
And then you just kind of go, oh, boy.
Usually I work with them, and
I mean, it's tough.
I just keep talking enough until they give in. That's how I do it.
For those of you listening, that doesn't always work.
Because it is the last resort and people don't use it right. And,
Yeah.
Just on that cartridge exchange program, it's got to be, you got to have one.
Yep.
OSHA asked for it.
Yep.
Cartridge exchange program. All right. But talking about respirators. So we talking about dust masks, N95s, P100 filtering face pieces. What did you say the next one up for that is?
Probably that we've mentioned several times. But we use the fancy wording for it, that elastomeric.
Yeah,
half
you got to
mask.
use, we're supposed to sound smart.
But it's just that half face piece rubber face mask that you guys have seen. You've all seen them. It just goes over the nose and mouth, and then it's got the two big fat cartridges that sit on both sides.
yeah.
So we call that the elastomeric half mask.
Elastomeric man.
Yeah. But they're good. They offer a good seal, good protection, and then of course, those filters can be fit to whatever the hazard may be. So good level of protection.
Let's talk about problems.
Problems
When can't you wear it?
in an IDLH situation.
You talking over my head.
In an immediately dangerous to life and health situation.
Okay. Immediately dangerous to life and health.
You talking over my... Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Now I'm going to really mess with your noodle.
Oh, man.
What is the definition for IDLH?
So what's the definition of immediately dangerous to life and health situation?
Yeah, that's spelled out the acronym, but OSHA
Right.
has a definition of what environment is immediately dangerous to life and health.
Well, now I'm thinking.
I can't quote it, so if you said it wrong, I'm not going to know. I only
I
know
thought there were several situations they counted as IDLH.
I could only remember some key phrasing in the definition. For sure, there's something to do with 15 minutes.
Okay.
Like if you die in 15 minutes. We should just look it up.
I'm going to cell phone cheat it.
Yeah,
That's
go
it.
for it.
I'm going to
pop
onto Google.
Air purifying respirators with cartridges are not allowed to be worn in immediately dangerous to life and health environments because that environment is got so much of the contaminant that it will quickly overload those cartridges and you could still die wearing it. So in our world, those are only good for like maintenance operations, not for like chemical spills and things like that where there's a ton of it. When it's IDLH, because there is overload and breakthrough, and they're not going to last forever when there's so much parts per million in the air.
Okay, so they kind of came up with like a weird answer to this.
Are you in the actual OSHA definition?
So somebody wrote in and said, well, when do you absolutely consider something to be IDLH?
Okay.
So in
is
one
it
of the
standard of interpretation?
Yeah, and it's one of the old ones that says it may or may not still stand anymore.
Okay.
So it says, this is interesting, an atmospheric condition of any toxic, corrosive, or asphyxiant substance that poses an immediate threat to life or would cause irreversible or delayed adverse health effects or would interfere with an individual's ability to escape from a dangerous atmosphere.
Okay.
So
I want to get the one in the definitions because I thought there was a 15-minute component in there.
Okay.
Because even like a APR, air purifying respirator, with the right cartridge for the contaminant, like you could run through the IDLH room and be okay.
And like you'd make it.
Yeah, but if you were in there like over a certain amount of time, like you're dead.
All right.
It's gonna be breakthrough.
We'll pull it up in the 134 standard.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're just gonna go straight to the definition.
While you're looking that up, I think the next one up for that would just be the full face.
I think so, but the full face negative pressure.
Okay.
Because full face, you're gonna start getting into some real positive means of protection there.
I like full face because I don't got to worry about eye protection. If you got a half face on and you're dealing with a chemical so bad you can't breathe it in, chances are, it's also going to be bad if it gets in your eyes. So wearing goggles and a half face, why not just go full face?
I mean, yeah. If I had the option, just go full face.
Unless you did your research and there was not going to do anything to your eyeballs.
So if you go to if you go to respiratory protection,
okay,
and you go to the first definition of IDLH, it's the thing that I read to you.
Okay.
An atmosphere possesses immediate threat to life or health, cause irreversible health effects, or impair an individual's ability to escape. That's the definition.
Okay.
But then if you continue on through selection of respirators, they actually have a section called respirators for IDLH.
Okay.
And they say some neat things in here. For example, one of the things they say is all oxygen deficient atmospheres shall be considered IDLH.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
If you have no oxygen, you're going to die.
Yeah. But they say if it's oxygen deficient.
Well, yeah, your filtering face piece cannot be worn in there. You may be filtering out lead, but it's not producing oxygen. If there's less than 19.5% oxygen in that room and you got an APR on.
Yep. You're not producing any additional oxygen.
Yeah, it's going to be bad. And if it was even lower than that, if you get down 13% and stuff like that, you're going down.
You're going down.
You're not breathing lead in, but you're also not breathing oxygen in.
So here's where I'm finding that thing that was sticking out in your brain.
Okay.
A lot of times in the standard, as I'm clicking through, there are places where it starts to define requirements for an escape respirator in an IDLH situation.
Okay.
And they say that if it's going to be categorized as escape, it must be able to withstand 15 minutes of filtration.
All right. Fair enough. All right, so
there's even more down at the bottom. Procedures for IDLH atmospheres. Man, I need to read the standard again. It's honestly been like I sat down and I read the whole thing and really got good in it when I went through my hazmat instructor.
Hazwapper.
And I did all of those. But man, I need to brush up. I'm feeling rusty reading through these. I'm like, oh yeah.
So after the half face, you got the full face, which gives you your eye protection.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. What would you say better than that?
So once you get up to your full face and you're on your negative pressure, I think going to probably the PAPR would be the next one.
PAPR?
The PAPR?
Can you bring me the PAPR, please? I need my PAPR. Where's my PAPR at? Anybody see my PAPR?
You even got the voice crack on the last one. Oh, Pamper. No, your powered air purifying respirator.
Now, it's an appropriate acronym.
It is.
It has
It's powered.
one letter for each word.
We were breaking down acronyms. For those of you tuning in new this week, if you weren't here last week, you missed us really get upset about acronyms. It's something that bothers us.
There's just rules to it, and PAPR follows them.
Right. Powered air purifying respirator.
So PAPR is a cool tool
Yeah.
for all the seasoned gentlemen on the job sites
Well, it does.
that may have indulged in tobacco for many years, but have also gained skills more than anybody else has.
So you're wise and sick.
Yes. But no, it's real. So
Yeah.
like run into it all the time. Aaron, man, I need this guy. Let's
Yeah.
just call him Jim.
Yeah.
To do this job. He's the only one who could
the
do
best
it.
one.
We try to get him to train all these new kids and they can't pick it
Right.
up. But man, he's got chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He's got emphysema. He's got something. He can never pass the medical evaluation for us to put him in that, APR. He doesn't have the lung function, capacity to pull air
draw
through
that
them
air.
filters, to breathe out the air through that exhalation valve.
Right.
And we're just in a pickle. And then I go,
Hey,
gotcha.
I got a thing.
You got to get him a PAPR.
Get him one of them Pampers.
Get him a PAPR.
Ooh.
And they go, what? And I go, a PAPR.
A Pamper. Well, I got another acronym for you past the PAPR.
Okay.
You got the SAR.
Yeah, but we haven't finished the PAPR.
Oh, you want to stick on Pappers?
Well, I got to at least
PAPR?
finish the story why it works for this guy.
Oh, well.
What it is.
Okay.
So it has a pump
Yeah, so it's
that you
motorized
wear on
pump.
your belt.
Yeah.
And instead of relying on your lung capacity
Yeah.
to pull air through all those filters, that motorized pump does it for you.
It just pulls them through the filters.
So it's pulling this contaminated air through this filter, which hopefully you got the right filter for that contaminant. And so that contaminants go to the filter. And then what's going past that filter is good breathable air. And it's just being shot up into their face piece.
Like it disturbingly. Like if you look at them in their mask, they're just like they're in a wind tunnel the whole time.
But
it's the PAPR.
they might actually even breathe easier in that
Oh yeah.
than like in reality, because like
It's
filtered air is being just like delivered to them.
Well, yeah.
No lung functioning required other than just general inhale and exhale.
Just open your mouth.
So now you can get that seasoned guy, the only one in your company that can do that job, but it required a respirator. But now he can still do it because of this special tool.
He's Pappy Papper.
Yeah, he's Papper Man. So I think they're cool.
Pappers?
And
Heck yeah.
and I've actually seen them used for that. That's
Pappers are
kind of
cool.
only when I see them used, actually.
The only thing I don't like about the Papper is the big goofy face hose.
Well,
you
yeah.
gotta like watch out for that thing. That hose has to go down to
anytime
the.
you got hoses and
that
I
pack,
mean
it's
that
gotta go
goes
down
for
to
your
the Papper.
SARS and all that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my only like. They're awesome, but the hose sucks.
Right. All right. So up.
The SAR.
So SAR.
SAR.
Sudden acute respiratory syndrome, COVID.
Yes.
19.
Yes.
2.
That one. You put it on your face and breathe. It's a supplied air respirator.
It's a different SARS.
It is.
There's no S.
Supplied
air respirator. So you got this huge old tank filled with class.
And they're always
D?
ancient. Breathable air.
Is it class D, certified breathing air?
I don't know. Certified breathing air.
We just were in a class with this.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. So don't believe us. Fact check us.
The classification letter has left me.
It
I've been
is
abandoned by
certified breathing air.
Yes, certified breathing air.
And it's shot through a hose, fed into the mask.
Shot through. Man, this air is just like
It's flying.
shot through the hose.
So
And
you're
to blame.
Do
You
not
give my air a bad name.
you're not filtering the air. You're
Right.
bringing your own air to the party.
You brought good air.
BYOA. Bring your
BYOA.
own air,
Bring your own air.
right?
Right. But
If-
it's not quite an SCBA. Not quite.
No.
We're not there yet.
No, it's
Supplied.
suckier
Suckier because you're
because
mobile.
you got a tail,
Yeah. You're mobile, but your tank
but
may or
it's
may not
better because of the size of the tank.
Right. You got much more air. Like way more air.
Yeah, so it's a big tank.
So it's some positive, some negative.
Yeah, for sure.
You're dragging this hose, but
On negatives, I think it's a requirement. You have to have that little emergency escape bottle on you too.
oh, so you could just plug into that just in case.
No, you're plugged into it. You switch it over.
It's like a valve.
Yeah, so to me that sucks. Like
Yeah.
safety-wise, I'm like, this is cool because if my line got severed, cut,
Right.
damaged, and I'm like deep into this confined space with no oxygen or a very bad
Yeah.
contaminant, I'm dead. Well, not so fast.
Not so fast.
I could switch over to my escape bottle. Has got just enough air for me to get on out of there.
Well, hopefully a little more than just enough.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
but it's a little guy.
Yeah.
So I like that.
It is.
But not only am I carrying a tail with me, now I got to have a little bottle on
you
my
got
belt
extra
too.
weight.
Yep.
Yep.
Just more bulk.
Yeah.
More stuff that you got to be careful that
And
you
not
don't
not my
damage.
kind of bulk. I'm always
No.
looking for more bulk.
If you damage your main airline
Yeah.
and your little bottle too,
Oh,
because you
man.
just weren't focusing and carrying and adjusting to all this gear on, and you
Right.
damaged them both, and neither one's working, you probably are dead.
You're not doing so well. It won't be good for you.
All right, what's past SAR?
Well, the SCBA.
Yeah, I like the SCBA. Another acronym.
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Which passes the acronym police
Yeah.
inspection.
I am appeased by
The first letter of each word, one letter per word.
this. Yeah.
So
Right.
no problems for
See,
me.
it's not a
on
perfect
SCBA.
acronym yet, though. The perfect acronyms spell a word that actually is.
I don't think that's the rule of acronyms.
no,
though.
that's just the perfect acronym.
Yeah,
Like there can still be good acronyms that don't
like
spell
SHIELD.
things. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
SWAT.
See, there you go.
Yeah, HAZWOPER.
Oh my gosh. At first, I was on board, and then I
It
was like, Aaron,
spelled
why?
something that's nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Right.
All right. So, self-contained breathing apparatus, BYOA. Bring your own
bring in
air.
your own air, man.
But now you're carrying the bottle.
Carrying the bottle.
It's not on a
It's
call.
hefty.
Not on a cart. It's not a huge line.
Right.
The new fiberglass, is it fiberglass or is it carbon fiber?
I'm not sure.
But it's the lighter material.
Yes, they are lighter.
It's not the old metal Eagle Sky
and they
Air
can go up to
pack.
like 45 minutes now, I think.
I think I've seen them a lot longer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. So they went lighter material and longer usage.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So you got them on your back,
Mm-hmm.
which is cumbersome and heavy, so more strain.
Right.
But you got your own air. You're not filtering anything.
Right.
You,
don't have to
you
worry
better
about
watch
tangling
that gauge,
hose.
though.
Yep.
You're literally like a scuba diver.
Similar.
So SCBA,
Right.
SCUBA.
Yep.
Now there's an acronym that's pronounceable in a word. So
Yeah,
you would like
scuba.
that scuba, even though
Scuba
that
is
doesn't really
closer.
mean anything.
No, it's its own word.
It's become a word, but
Yeah.
it's self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. What's the difference between scuba device and an SCBA?
I believe it's the valve mechanism, so that the SCBA is not designed to be used sideways or upside down,
Okay.
but a scuba can be used sideways, upside down,
So
underwater.
the tank is in a different direction and everything's waterproof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
I mean, basic. When you boil it down, yeah, you have a big tank on your back that lets you breathe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you got a mask on that's got a seal.
Right.
Can't let water in.
But the scuba one is specifically designed to be used
Underwater.
underwater.
Yeah.
And in all those configurations.
Yeah. You know what I always wanted to do?
You want to try it, don't you? You want to take an SCBA underwater.
No.
Oh.
Yes, but no. I want to.
Will this really not work?
I want to put a SCBA on,
Okay.
and then my level A hazmat.
Okay.
That's certified. That's sealed,
Sealed.
and I guess I would need lots of weights,
Okay.
maybe ankle weights, like a lot of weight,
Okay. Okay.
and then jump into water. Because theoretically, that is a self-contained suit.
Yes, it should be.
And I'm thinking if no air could come in, then no water should come in. So I'm
I
waterproofing my SCBA by
Yeah.
putting a level A hazmat suit.
And then as long as you
around
stayed
it.
upright the whole time in the
You
appropriate
think it would really-
configuration. I thought that was part of it.
I don't know, because like, man, a firefighter, man, they're diving out of stuff and they're climbing stuff.
Yeah.
and I don't think that.
I don't know.
I think they could be inverted. And
I just
stuff.
don't know enough about
They're
it.
rolling around on the ground. Haven't you seen them guys?
I don't know how well you could roll with a tank on your back.
But I'm sure
like,
if we
conk
talk to
into it.
some firefighters, they've been in some intense situations with the SCBA where they're inverted sideways, laying down, vertical,
maybe.
horizontal, prone and supine.
There you go.
Yeah,
Suprone.
and probably upside down.
Well, maybe you can.
So I don't know, but
That would be like your maximum level protection is where you've got
for respiratory
full control over the whole system. You're carrying it with you. Like, it's
Right.
all you.
Yeah.
Maximum level.
So cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've exhausted for now respiratory protection. There's more we can
We're
talk
never
about.
exhausted.
No, we're never exhausted, but I think the people are. So
They
we
might
should,
be.
We should probably let it go.
Oh, we're going to be considerate.
Well, everybody, we really thank you for tuning in to episode 23, Respiratory Protection of the Evil Safety Dudes. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. Breathe fresh air. Breathe.